FreeBooksTube is glad to produce, publish, and offer Life's Greatest Treasure, Kingdom of Heaven by Sage D. Esotreasure. In a world captivated by the pursuit of material wealth and possessions, we often neglect to recognize the most profound and valuable treasure of all, the kingdom of heaven within ourselves. From early on, society teaches us that happiness and fulfillment are tied to money, status symbols, and material goods. Yet, despite accumulating these things, a sense of emptiness frequently lingers. Jesus Christ imparted a profound and transformative truth. The kingdom of heaven is not a tangible place but a spiritual state we can achieve through inner reflection. This hidden treasure is buried beneath our materialistic cravings. To uncover it, we must embark on a journey that prioritizes our spiritual lives over the relentless chase for worldly pleasures. When we place earthly possessions above our spiritual well-being, we limit our ability to experience the boundless blessings that come from a deep spiritual connection. Instead of clinging to material items, which are temporary by nature, focusing on our inner selves and higher aspirations allows us to embrace timeless blessings such as faith, wisdom, joy, and peace. It's essential to understand that this isn't about renouncing all worldly possessions or living in poverty. Rather, it's about releasing our attachment to transient things and fostering a rich inner life. True contentment arises from within, breaking free from the chains of greed and envy. Our greatest fulfillment comes from personal spiritual growth, not from material accumulation. This paradox is striking. By relinquishing our hold on temporary wealth, we gain access to an eternal kingdom overflowing with unimaginable beauty. Embracing the infinite love, grace, and presence of God liberates our hearts, allowing us to bask in a spiritual richness far beyond material possessions. The true value of life lies not in the diminishing worth of material wealth, but in the profound connection between our souls and the divine. By quieting our incessant desire for more, we tap into an endless wellspring of inner peace, joy, and spiritual fulfillment. Lesson 1 is the realization that the kingdom of heaven is within us. Jesus reveals that this kingdom isn't found in the external world but exists as a spiritual realm inside ourselves. It's a treasure that cannot be acquired through external means. Since childhood, we've been conditioned to seek happiness, approval, and completeness from outside sources, believing that more money, possessions, status, or indulgences will ultimately fulfill us. However, no matter how much we accumulate, finding that peaceful and satisfying place remains elusive. The reason is simple: we've been searching for heaven in the wrong places. The realm our spirits yearn for isn't found in the ever-changing material world. It cannot be earned or acquired through temporary treasures or pleasures. The kingdom of heaven has always been within us, patiently waiting for us to look inward. We often overlook the immense treasures inside us while we search tirelessly for external fulfillment. The beauty of the kingdom becomes apparent when we embrace stillness, surrender, and realign ourselves with the divine. Entering this sacred inner realm requires reliance on grace, spiritual discipline, and letting go of our attachment to temporary things. It's a process of releasing the ego's ties to material possessions to welcome the profound and enduring gifts that the soul can truly appreciate. Each individual possesses boundless tranquility, affection, happiness, wisdom, and a deep connection with the divine. This inner kingdom is remarkable, with its immeasurable riches and inexhaustible treasure. Paradise is within us, so there's no need to search outside. Discovering the kingdom of heaven doesn't involve a physical journey, but rather a shift in perspective to look within ourselves. Lesson 2 revolves around the idea that our hearts are where our treasure lies. Jesus succinctly states that our deepest devotion is directed toward what we value most. The direction of our priorities, intentions, and desires is determined by where we choose to invest our treasures. At first glance, this might seem straightforward. Naturally, we focus our energy on things we value highly. However, this wisdom serves as both a caution and an invitation. It warns against valuing material possessions too highly while also offering the promise of a fulfilling life when we focus on what truly matters. When we base our happiness on temporary things like wealth, status, or fleeting pleasures, our hearts become attached to things that don't last. We often prioritize superficial pursuits over profound ones, seeking shallow and empty rewards. This pursuit aligns us with the temporary, causing our hearts to fragment and become lost. Conversely, shifting our focus toward what is sacred and eternal transforms our hearts profoundly. By prioritizing faith, love, wisdom, service, and communion with the divine, we embrace the eternal realm. Our hearts find solace in the unwavering and limitless. Investing in things that don't last leaves our hearts longing and empty, while investing in the eternal brings a sense of peace and satisfaction that only the soul can truly appreciate. The direction of our values, intentions, and desires shapes our core being. This doesn't imply that we should completely forsake the material world, as humans often find value in certain earthly treasures. Instead, the invitation emphasizes prioritizing spiritual treasures in our lives. Once we experience the profound wonders of the everlasting, no temporary earthly delight can satisfy or divert our attention. By embracing this wisdom, we connect with a universal desire to explore the sacred, seek unity, and be transformed by boundless love. Choose your treasures wisely, for they hold the key to your heart. Riley had ticked all the boxes of worldly success: a thriving business, a sprawling estate, and a vibrant social life. On the surface, their life seemed to sparkle with achievement and satisfaction. But beneath this glossy veneer lay a profound emptiness and a sense of aimlessness that overshadowed their days. The possessions and accolades that once promised joy had instead become burdens, contributing to a gnawing feeling of discontent. Despite the outward appearance of a perfect life, Riley's achievements failed to provide lasting fulfillment. It was a paradox that plagued them. Why did having everything feel so hollow? The answers began to unfold following a chance encounter with Nima, the amiable groundskeeper of their estate. During a conversation about landscaping, Nima posed a thought-provoking question. Given all you've achieved, where do you think your ultimate treasure lies? This question struck Riley deeply, as they had never truly considered the concept of inner treasure. They realized, after some introspection, that their focus had shifted entirely to external successes and the display of their status. In their relentless chase for worldly accomplishments, they had neglected their inner self. This moment of clarity ignited Riley's journey towards self-discovery and inner renewal. Riley embarked on a transformative quest to reconnect with their true self. They started with simple practices like meditation, journaling, and pondering life's profound questions. Through patience and openness, Riley began to understand that true treasure was not something to be bought or acquired externally, but had always resided within them. As this inner light reignited, they felt a profound sense of connection and meaning that far surpassed the fleeting joys of material wealth. The once alluring surface treasures now seemed trivial compared to the enduring warmth of their rejuvenated spirit. What began as a desperate search for purpose amidst abundance evolved into the realization that life's deepest treasures are not obtained but rediscovered. Riley came to appreciate their wealth in a new light, recognizing that the most valuable possession was the inner light of self-awareness and spiritual fulfillment. Lesson 3 illustrates how the Lord tests the heart. In ancient metallurgy, precious metals are refined through intense heat to remove impurities, transforming them into pure, invaluable substances. This process of heating and purifying parallels a spiritual metaphor. Just as metals undergo purification in the furnace, the human heart is tested and refined through life's trials and tribulations. Life's challenges, difficulties, and moments of uncertainty are akin to the refining fire that removes impurities from metal. These trials are not mere obstacles but transformative experiences that help us shed ego-driven flaws and attachments. Through this spiritual crucible, we are stripped of our selfishness, fears, and false idols, revealing our truest and most radiant selves. The journey of personal growth often involves confronting difficult people and situations that act as catalysts for change. Though these experiences may cause discomfort and vulnerability, they serve a higher purpose: to purge our pettiness, pride, and temporary distractions. Just as fire transforms raw metal into something valuable, our personal challenges shape us into individuals of greater worth and significance. The Lord tests our hearts to purify our essence and guide us toward fulfilling our sacred callings. These soul-refining fires mold our spirits into beautiful, precious, and everlasting entities. The heat of these trials never exceeds our capacity to endure, shaping us into enduring treasures deserving of eternal love. Embracing this spiritual transformation, we witness our evolution from ordinary to extraordinary, each trial revealing a new level of brilliance until our true beauty is fully unveiled. Lesson 4 delves into the radical nature of Christ's teaching on generosity. In a society driven by materialism and the relentless pursuit of possessions, Jesus' instruction to sell one's possessions and give to the poor stands in stark contrast to prevailing norms. This directive challenges the conventional mindset that equates success with wealth and accumulation. Instead, Christ invites us to embrace a life of giving and relinquishment, rather than one focused on acquiring and amassing temporary goods. At first glance, this call to divest ourselves of possessions may seem extreme. Yet, it presents an opportunity for profound liberation. When we cling tightly to our possessions, we become ensnared in a cycle of anxiety and desire, constantly striving for more. By selling our possessions, we release ourselves from the shackles of materialism and the anxiety it brings. This act of letting go challenges the scarcity mindset that often pervades our lives and highlights that our true essence lies not in material goods but in the timeless treasures within our souls. It is crucial to understand that selling possessions isn't about self-deprivation but rather about reallocating resources. Christ's message urges us to use our material wealth to assist those in genuine need, such as the hungry, homeless, sick, and oppressed. In doing so, we become vessels of hope and agents of change amidst limited resources. However, this teaching extends beyond mere charitable giving. Christ calls us to focus on the eternal and spiritual dimensions of life, prioritizing values that resonate with our deepest selves rather than transient possessions. By embracing these lessons, we align ourselves with a higher purpose, discovering that the path to true fulfillment lies not in external accumulation but in the internal journey towards spiritual richness and generosity. In a world where material possessions often overshadow spiritual values, the true essence of wealth lies in accumulating eternal treasures rather than fleeting material goods. Jesus' teachings urge us to pivot our focus from the endless pursuit of earthly gains towards cultivating a deeper spiritual connection. This journey involves embracing practices such as serving others, showing love for the divine, and nurturing our fellow travelers. By redirecting our attention from transient possessions to enduring spiritual values, we invest in a wealth that transcends the material plane. When we choose to give away our possessions and help those in need, we are not merely redistributing material resources. Instead, we embark on a path towards spiritual liberation. This act of letting go of material attachments frees us from the grip that possessions have on our hearts and redirects our focus toward the eternal kingdom that remains forever steadfast. In this process, we store our treasures in everlasting vaults that shine far brighter than any worldly wealth. Lesson 5 introduces the concept of acquiring durable money bags. In a society obsessed with wealth and material possessions, Jesus offers a transformative perspective. Our ultimate goal is not to accumulate earthly treasures indefinitely but to invest in an eternal money bag filled with imperishable riches. This metaphorical money bag represents the boundless heavenly riches available to us all. Unlike material wealth, which is subject to decay, this divine treasure is eternal and secure, ensuring that its contents are always protected. To acquire this enduring money bag and fill it with genuine riches, we must realign our values and motivations. shifting our focus from amassing earthly gains to accumulating treasures in heaven opens the door to true and lasting wealth. This process involves engaging in conscious spiritual practices, such as acts of generosity, loving service, spiritual discipline, and deepening our connection with the divine. Every act of kindness, empathy, or selflessness driven by faith contributes to a celestial treasure chest that cannot be lost or destroyed. Through this journey, we witness a profound transformation within ourselves, gradually finding ourselves less captivated by the fleeting promises of temporary wealth and more attuned to the meaningful pursuits that bring genuine satisfaction. As our focus shifts to more profound and enduring values, we come to realize that material possessions and social status pale in comparison to the deep sense of belonging, pure happiness, and freedom that true treasures offer. Over time, our spiritual money bag becomes enriched with a currency of immeasurable worth: love, wisdom, faith, service, and connection with the divine. This wealth transcends fulfilling basic needs, opening up new dimensions of spiritual fulfillment and profound abundance. It represents a valuable inheritance that far surpasses material wealth. During uncertain times, focusing on securing our spiritual stability brings abundant blessings wherever we go, affirming that we are always rich with an everlasting and protected treasure within us. Lesson 6 explores the relationship between wealth and wisdom. Historically, wealth has provided a sense of security and protection, shielding people from poverty and insecurity. In this sense, wealth can be seen as a form of strong shelter. However, a biblical proverb highlights that wisdom, much like money, offers protection and guidance. Prioritizing the development of understanding, discernment, and consciousness builds a robust internal defense against ignorance and foolishness. At first glance, wealth and wisdom might appear to offer similar types of protection. Yet, upon closer examination, it becomes clear that wisdom provides a more profound and versatile form of refuge. While wealth creates temporary physical havens, wisdom offers a transcendent form of protection that is both portable and incorruptible. Wisdom enables us to cultivate a heightened awareness that navigates any terrain, whether welcoming or hostile, abundant or barren. This internal sanctuary remains resilient against external circumstances, allowing us to discern between genuine safety and deceptive illusions. Wisdom's unique advantage lies in its ability to offer a comprehensive and adaptable refuge. It empowers us to navigate life's journey with resilience, avoiding self-created prisons and understanding the difference between true sanctuaries and mere facades of safety. Unlike material wealth, which is subject to decay, wisdom provides a sanctuary that helps us stay grounded amidst chaos. It allows us to maintain clarity and stability, offering a grace that diverges from the limitations of material possessions. Lesson 7 emphasizes the assurance of divine abundance. The Apostle Paul's message stands in contrast to the prevailing attitudes of scarcity and perpetual inadequacy that permeate our culture. This profound spiritual truth reveals that we live in a universe overflowing with abundance, where our genuine needs are lovingly fulfilled by a boundless Creator. Life is replete with blessings that flow abundantly, bringing us joy and fulfillment. This divine abundance is not merely about an excess of material wealth or purchasing power. Instead, it encompasses having enough, recognizing that we are equipped with everything we need to achieve deep satisfaction and engage in acts of kindness. We possess all that is necessary to nurture meaning, creativity, compassion, wisdom, purpose, and joy in our lives. This teaching highlights the possibility of releasing the constant craving for more, embracing the reality that true fulfillment comes from recognizing and appreciating the abundance already present in our lives. By focusing on spiritual richness and divine generosity, we align ourselves with a higher understanding of wealth, one that transcends the limitations of material possessions and embraces the eternal treasures that lie within and beyond our grasp. In a world dominated by messages of scarcity and the never-ending quest for more, it is essential to recognize that the abundance of blessings in our lives has already been generously provided by our benevolent Creator. This recognition invites us to let go of our fears about lacking what we need and to open ourselves to the blessings that are already available. It is important to understand that this does not negate the reality of human struggles and hardships. There are certainly moments when our circumstances seem bereft of comfort and positivity. Yet, even in the bleakest of situations, God offers us an abundance of spiritual sustenance, strength, endurance, refuge, resilience, and the rejuvenating power of love. There is always an ample supply of mercy to guide us through the most challenging times, if only we remain receptive to it. Living within this promise fosters a profound transformation. The incessant desire for more begins to fade, replaced by the realization that we have full access to everything we genuinely need. Embracing this understanding cultivates a sense of calm and trust in the ever-present flow of grace, replacing the anxious search for security. As we align ourselves with this spiritual abundance, our mindset of lack is gradually replaced with deep gratitude, which inspires us to be more generous and to engage in acts of kindness. These insights offer a timeless reassurance. God's hand is always open, ready to provide all that is necessary for living each day to the fullest. For those who are open to it, there is always a generous supply available. Consider the story of Jamila, who had spent her life plagued by worries about financial stability. Despite having a supportive family and a fulfilling job, she was burdened by fear and insecurity about her financial situation. Regardless of the amount of money she earned, Jamila always felt it was insufficient to cover her expenses and save for the future. This mindset of inadequacy overshadowed her daily experiences, turning her focus away from the blessings of life and onto constant financial concerns, such as meeting expenses, paying bills, and saving for unforeseen costs. Even during moments of happiness, Jamila could not escape the belief that lack and struggle were ever present. Jamila's perspective began to shift during a spiritual retreat where she encountered teachings about humanity's divine inheritance of abundance. the esteemed teacher discussed how the perception of lack, poverty, and want arises from a disconnection from the ultimate source of provision. Jamila resonated deeply with these ideas, both physically and emotionally. The teacher explained that the divine creator had fashioned the universe and infused all existence with sacred patterns of continuous nourishment and renewal. Much like a river is replenished by rainfall and the changing seasons, human beings are constantly receiving blessings to meet their needs. When we lose touch with this truth, feelings of scarcity and lack become apparent. In the weeks and months that followed, Jamila dedicated herself to releasing the fearful narratives of inadequacy that had limited her life. By incorporating daily practices of meditation, prayer, and gratitude, she gradually reconnected with divine energy. This shift in perception led to a significant change in her experience of life. Jamila went from feeling desperate and deprived to recognizing the abundance and wealth that had always surrounded her. Fortuitous circumstances and unexpected opportunities for additional income began to appear. Expenses that once felt overwhelming became more manageable, and Jamila's perspective transformed to see material resources as just one aspect of the Creator's abundant provision. A new world of possibilities opened up for Jamila, the marvels of nature's splendor, the hidden treasures of creativity and intuition, the wealth of meaningful relationships, and the deep nourishment found in spiritual wisdom. By choosing to let go and embrace grace, Jamila allowed a flood of blessings to enter her life, blessings that had always been there but had simply needed to be acknowledged. As she remembered her divine connection, feelings of lack and limitation dissipated, and she could fully appreciate each day's manifestations of the boundless wealth that surrounded her. The quest for true contentment in our modern world often places undue emphasis on wealth as a measure of success and happiness. Our society is saturated with messages suggesting that luxury and material possessions are the keys to true satisfaction. However, focusing solely on material wealth can undermine our spiritual well-being, leading to a sense of emptiness and disconnection from what truly matters. When we become fixated on acquiring wealth, we are often deceived by the illusion that more will ultimately bring us inner contentment. Instead of finding peace, we find ourselves trapped in a cycle of incessant striving and yearning for more, perpetually hungry for what fails to sustain us. This distorted longing arises from societal misconceptions that equate wealth with status, security, comfort, and purpose. When we buy into these illusions, we become ensnared in insatiable desires that separate us from the peace and presence we truly seek. An alternative approach involves embracing a message that contrasts with mainstream beliefs, the significance of spiritual fulfillment and being content with what we already have. This journey begins by disentangling our identities from our financial worth and realigning our priorities with what genuinely matters: faith, relationships, wisdom, service, and the eternal. As we embark on this reorientation, a powerful shift occurs. We redirect our energy away from material pursuits and focus on what nourishes our souls. This shift involves moving from a state of longing to one of valuing and recognizing the deep abundance that is already present in every precious moment. This is not a critique of wealth or its role, but rather a reminder to view wealth in a balanced context. By prioritizing our spiritual well-being, everything else becomes an added blessing rather than a necessity. We come to understand that true wealth is not measured by the quantity of money or possessions, but by our connection to the generative source of all abundance. Through this perspective, we can embrace the pleasures of life with greater appreciation, knowing that our true wealth lies in our spiritual richness and connection to the divine. This approach allows us to experience joy and contentment not through endless accumulation but through a profound awareness of the abundant blessings that already grace our lives. In navigating the material world, it's crucial to view possessions not as deities demanding our unwavering devotion but as delightful additions to our lives. This shift in perspective allows us to experience santosha, a profound sense of contentment and joy with what we already have. True satisfaction comes from a place of acceptance and gratitude, rather than from a perpetual chase for more. The essence of living wisely is reflected in how we manage and cherish the treasures life offers us: our time, energy, relationships, purpose, and material resources. The wise approach these gifts with great care, fully aware of their intrinsic value and the impossibility of regaining them through shortcuts. Their approach is deliberate and mindful, ensuring that their spiritual aspirations are nurtured, their life's calling is honored, and their environments are uplifting. In contrast, those lacking wisdom often handle their treasures recklessly, squandering them on fleeting pleasures and distractions. Many waste their potential and creativity on harmful habits, neglect their health and relationships due to poor boundary setting, and spend their resources to satisfy selfish desires. This lack of discipline and understanding can lead to a life of mediocrity and regret, where the true value of these treasures is lost. From a worldly perspective, the apparent loss of material wealth might seem trivial, as wealth can often be replenished through money, connections, or inheritance. However, when it comes to matters of true significance, such as innocence, purpose, and integrity, the losses are profound and irreparable. The deep sense of spiritual emptiness that accompanies such losses cannot be remedied by material wealth. The wise recognize this and understand the importance of safeguarding and nurturing what holds the utmost value, constantly enhancing their humanity and spiritual bond. Throughout history, wisdom traditions have highlighted the importance of discipline, discernment, service, and remembrance as ways to cultivate and protect life's most precious aspects: love, mystery, beauty, and wonder. By accessing these abundant resources, we ensure that we are never truly in want. The quality of our treasures directly influences the power and impact of our lives. One can choose to become a highly respected artisan whose creations inspire and elevate, or remain a spiritually drained wanderer who explores life's beauty but fails to experience its true essence. Those who possess wisdom navigate life gracefully, while those without stumble through, missing the hidden treasures that surround them. The choice is ours to make. Humility and reverence offer a refreshing perspective on achieving true fulfillment and respect in a culture often obsessed with self-promotion, individualism, and material pursuits. At first glance, it might seem contradictory to connect humility with attaining wealth and honor. Many believe that accumulating wealth and status requires a high level of self-confidence, sometimes bordering on arrogance. We are often taught that success demands relentless self-assertion, shameless self-promotion, and a defiant attitude toward limitations. However, this path, despite its alluring promises, often leads to a life of emptiness and dissatisfaction. When ego takes the helm, we lose touch with the essential spiritual foundations necessary for meaningful fulfillment. Our souls suffer when we become disconnected from the fountain of grace due to our prideful illusions of control. This disconnection can obstruct our journey to success. Embracing humility transforms our spiritual outlook and helps us focus on life's highest possibilities. It shifts our attention away from selfish desires and encourages deep respect for something greater than ourselves. By adopting this virtue, we free ourselves from ego-driven materialistic pursuits and open ourselves to the divine's abundant blessings. Humility reveals the true nature of wealth as a spiritual inheritance rather than a reckless chase driven by ego. Our spirits become open and receptive to heavenly abundance, which manifests in various forms: material sufficiency, enriching wisdom, sublime relationships, purposeful creativity, and a reconnection with our cherished essence. Through humility, we come to understand that materialistic pursuits pale in comparison to the abundant blessings we receive when we remain grounded and present. This simplicity fosters a genuine sense of honor, free from the need to impress with grand gestures. Walking the path of humility offers a profound opportunity to rediscover life's true blessings: deep fulfillment, genuine connection, and the joy of living with boundless grace. It is this reward that awaits those who abandon futile efforts and embrace reverence as the true source of prosperity and recognition. Consider Alexa, who devoted much of her life to chasing conventional markers of success: a prestigious education, a high-powered career, and material wealth. Her determination and self-assurance propelled her to the top of her industry. From her corner office, she could see the many achievements she had amassed. Her personal life was adorned with luxurious possessions, lavish trips, and extravagant indulgences. To the world, Alexa seemed to embody success and wealth. Yet, despite the external trappings of success, Alexa felt an underlying emptiness that she couldn't shake. Her life, filled with material luxury, lacked a deeper sense of fulfillment and connection. This disparity highlighted the limits of material success in providing true contentment. In essence, the journey to true wealth and fulfillment involves more than the accumulation of material goods. It requires a shift from ego-driven pursuits to a life grounded in humility and reverence. By valuing and nurturing the spiritual and meaningful treasures in our lives, we unlock a deeper, more enduring sense of satisfaction and joy. Through humility, we embrace the full spectrum of life's blessings, finding richness beyond the superficial allure of material success. Alexa's life, full of luxury and material success, lacked lasting happiness and satisfaction. Despite her wealth, she was constantly chasing more possessions, more recognition, yet she felt an unsettling emptiness. This void became glaringly apparent during a sudden family crisis. As she stood by her ailing mother's bedside, feeling utterly helpless, all her achievements and assets seemed to lose their significance. The sight of her mother's suffering made Alexa confront the hollowness that had always lurked beneath her pursuit of material success. This pivotal moment led Alexa to reevaluate her life's priorities. The teachings she encountered emphasized a profound truth: true richness in life comes from letting go of arrogance and ego-driven ambitions. Instead, it involves a journey of self-reflection, humility, and recognizing one's connection to a higher power. Intrigued, Alexa immersed herself in practices such as meditation, prayer, and service. As she began to release her own mental barriers, she started to perceive a sacred presence in even the simplest aspects of life. The relentless pursuit of success was replaced by an appreciation for spiritual treasures that far surpassed material wealth. Through this transformation, Alexa discovered a new way of living that brought her genuine peace, belonging, and wonder. She realized that true prosperity is not about personal achievements or possessions, but about surrendering to the reverence and service of a higher power. By letting go of her previous self-image, she embraced the true treasures of life: love, wisdom, creativity, and connection to something greater. This humble approach revealed a profound paradox. The most extraordinary realms of splendor are accessible not through ego but through a deep, reverent connection with the divine. This journey led Alexa to understand a significant biblical principle: wealth blessed by the Lord is different from materialistic accumulation. Unlike the culture that equates wealth with relentless effort, burnout, and personal sacrifice, this principle asserts that divine blessings bring prosperity without sorrow or exhausting labor. Initially, this concept may seem disconnected from the harsh realities faced by those struggling to make ends meet. It can be disheartening for those who work tirelessly, only to hear that prosperity can come effortlessly. However, this wisdom invites a reevaluation of our beliefs about wealth and security. Cultural conditioning often leads us to equate abundance with hard work, competition, and power struggles. This mindset turns wealth into a spiritual burden, achieved at the cost of strained relationships, health issues, and inner decline. The divine perspective challenges this narrative, offering a new view of wealth that transcends material accumulation and status. By aligning our pursuits with the Creator's intentions, we gain a deeper understanding of wealth that enriches all aspects of life: relationships, creativity, physical well-being, mental clarity, and spiritual growth. When we are in harmony with the divine flow, abundance comes effortlessly, free from past traumas, compromised values, or hardship. It enhances our material possessions by adding spiritual gifts like wisdom, beauty, joy, and purpose. This approach emphasizes that true worth and security are not derived from constant effort or material pursuits, but from recognizing our inherent sense of contentment and sufficiency. Life's essential prosperities flow naturally from this state of being, liberated from anxious grasping. Finally, there is the wisdom of prioritizing a good name. In today's materialistic world, where social status and luxury often dominate, this ancient wisdom provides a refreshing perspective. It highlights the value of integrity and earning respect over acquiring wealth and luxury. Ultimately, character and reputation bring more substantial rewards than material assets. From a young age, we are bombarded with messages prioritizing material wealth, luxury, and status symbols. We are often led to believe that these outward signs of success are the most effective means of gaining admiration and comfort. Yet, focusing solely on wealth and status can lead to compromising one's principles. When integrity and ethical standing are sacrificed, all the riches in the world become worthless. In contrast, developing qualities such as honesty, wisdom, generosity, and service creates a strong foundation of goodwill and respect. This positive reputation brings recognition in esteemed circles and offers opportunities that far surpass the value of material possessions. True wealth comes from cultivating an impeccable reputation, which provides numerous advantages and enriches our lives in ways that money alone cannot. The wise recognize that the most nourishing returns come not from monetary success but from embodying qualities that enhance our humanity. By focusing on these intangible values, we build a legacy of honor and respect that transcends material wealth, offering a deeper, more fulfilling experience of life. In the grand scheme of life, the presence of material wealth and luxurious possessions is not inherently negative. What matters is the foundation upon which we build our wealth and our adherence to ethical principles throughout that process. When financial success is achieved through integrity and is directed towards endeavors that uplift and benefit humanity, it transforms into a legacy that endures beyond mere status. Today, many are captivated by the notion that opulence and grand possessions are the ultimate keys to gaining admiration and respect. However, ancient spiritual wisdom offers a counter-narrative. It teaches us that the real measure of lasting abundance and prosperity is determined not by the quantity of material goods we amass, but by the values we uphold and the behavior we demonstrate. The crux of this wisdom lies in understanding that true wealth is not solely about acquiring more, but about how we live and the impact we make on others. Prioritizing what yields eternal rewards rather than fleeting gains ensures that our legacy is one of genuine value. As we reflect on our journey through life, the final lesson becomes abundantly clear. The greatest treasure we can possess is not found in external achievements or possessions, but within the depths of our own being. Across various cultures, there is a prevalent belief that fulfillment comes from acquiring material wealth. Yet, the true treasures are not external acquisitions, but the inherent richness within ourselves. Realizing this requires a shift in perspective. It is a profound revelation that what we seek has always been within us. Material wealth alone cannot satisfy our deepest longings for self-awareness, meaningful relationships, and a true understanding of who we are. Once we recognize this truth, the relentless search for external validation and possessions begins to dissolve. This shift in understanding reveals that fulfillment does not come from accumulating external goods, but from embracing and appreciating our intrinsic essence. By acknowledging and celebrating our true self, we uncover the true richness of our existence. This realization is the ultimate gift of life, offering us deep fulfillment, self-awareness, and joy without the need for any further acquisitions. True contentment is found in recognizing and embracing our authentic selves. This understanding illuminates the genuine wealth that resides within, allowing us to fully appreciate the wonders of life and the treasures it offers. It's through this deep self-awareness and acceptance that we discover the ultimate wealth, a treasure that requires nothing more than a realization of what has always been ours. In summary, the journey of understanding life's greatest treasures teaches us that the real wealth is not in the material possessions we chase, but in the profound insight and connection we cultivate within ourselves. True abundance is discovered not through the external accumulation of goods, but through the internal discovery of our own essence and the values we live by. Copyright 2024 by FreeBooksTube. Thank you for listening. Please consider to subscribe, like, and share to help the channel grow new videos on a daily basis.